What's up, and welcome back to my channel, Ask a Speech Therapist. Today we're going to talk about Tuesday tips. So here's a tip that you can use with your child if you're trying to work with bubbles. So there's two things I want to address in this video. How to use something as simple as bubbles to work on one word requests, and eventually expanding that request to include simple two-word requests. So let's say if you have a child that typically reaches for your hand or tries to take your hand to something, or just puts something like bubbles in your hand and pushes it towards you to indicate, hey, I want bubbles. Well, you're not going to put the expectation on your child to say, hey, ask for bubbles, say, I want bubbles. If your child is not even using single words to request, then that's not really a realistic expectation. However, we can begin to build expectation and model how to use single words to request. And so bubbles are a great toy to use to address that skill. So in therapy, if I have a child where the child is used to requesting by non-verbal means, such as gestures and pointing, then I'm going to simplify what I want that child to do. I'm going to present the bubbles and I'm going to model how the child would ask. Oh, bubbles. You see bubbles. So if the child is looking in the direction of bubbles, like, and they start to point, let me see if you guys can see me point. If they start to point and the bubbles are here, and they're not saying anything, but they're pointing, then I know that that's what they want. So that's when I will expand upon their pointing and try to move them more towards words. So I would acknowledge the fact that the child is looking at the bubbles. Oh, you see bubbles. You want bubbles. I'm going to exaggerate the word. I'm going to bring attention to just that word that I want the child to imitate. Bubbles. And then I'm going to open the bubbles to let the child know that I'm going to blow bubbles. I'm going to blow the bubbles. Then I will grab some bubbles as they float down from the ceiling. Bubbles. Ooh, look at the bubbles. Pop. Uh-oh, where'd the bubbles go? I'll put the wand back in and I would close the cap and I would hold it here where the child can see. So the child now has a sense of cause and effect. Wait a minute, I see this. I can see this little purple thingy. Okay, she took it out. She blew these bubbles that I really liked. She put it back. Maybe if I reach and grab again, she'll give it to me. Or maybe if I try to say what she said, I may get it. And of course, it takes a lot of repetition, a lot of consistency, and a lot of time. But in my 18 years of practice, I'll be honest, outside of some of the fancy therapy toys I've ordered from specific speech therapy websites, I've gone to the dollar store or Walmart, gotten a container of bubbles, and within maybe 3 to 4 weeks, I've gotten a child to consistently say bubbles. And I would say when it comes to bubbles, you want to mix it up, meaning that you want to change the container that the bubbles are presented in so the child doesn't get bored easily when you pull this purple container of bubbles out for, let's say, the second week in a row. The child is looking at you like, oh, I've just asked for this already. I know what to say. I'm not interested. So when that is the case, if you start to see your child get bored with bubbles, you can change up the container that the bubbles are presented in, which brings me to my next point of two-word phrases. So these pack of bubbles can be purchased at the local, let's say a local dollar store or Walmart, for like maybe a pack of 3. And these are the bubbles that I normally get from the dollar store. It's normally in the, I want to say the birthday section where all of the party favorites are. And it's normally like 20 to 25 small containers of bubbles. And they come in some of these primary colors like yellow, blue, and red and purple. And I like it because it gives the child a choice and it looks different. So this container of bubbles, it looks different compared to this container of bubbles when it comes to size and not just color. And what I also like about these plastic colored container of bubbles, you can't tell what's in here. So if I shake it like this, hope you guys can hear the shaking. I normally can get the child's interest and intrigue them because they're not sure what's in there, but they can hear the sound that the liquid solution is making and they begin to get interested. They start to look or they might reach and grab, and then I can reveal to the child what's in there. So I would open the cap, blow the bubbles, and I like these smaller containers because they blow lots and lots of bubbles. Let's see if you guys can see it on camera. Yep. All right, let me do that again. So it blows lots and lots of bubbles. And if the child is really intrigued and they want to have me blow the bubbles, sometimes they'll reach and grab, and I'll just put the bubbles on the table or on the floor. If we're working on the floor, the child may pick it up. And what I like is the cap is so tight, even if a child tries to open the cap, and I've seen plenty of kids do this, they'll think they're slick. They'll grab it from me or they'll get it from the floor. They'll try to open it. And when they realize that the cap is on so tight that they can't, they give up, they come to me, and then sometimes they'll hand it to me, bubbles, bubbles, and they figured out, okay, I can't do it myself, but if I say this word, she'll open it for me. And I'm like, great, yes, you want bubbles. And then I may give them a choice. That's when we'll start with phrases. Do you want blue bubbles or yellow bubbles? Blue bubbles, yellow bubbles. And again, this would be a goal that I would work on once the child has established consistency with saying just the one word bubbles. Then I will start to build on that. And again, this is another tip that I'll address in another video, probably next week, where we can talk about verbs. So we can go from bubbles to yellow bubbles to blue bubbles to the verb open bubbles or blow bubbles or pop bubbles. So there's all type of phrasings that can be developed from just something as simple as bubbles using adjectives and verbs. And we'll definitely talk more about that in another video. But I just wanted to give you guys just a quick tip. Well, it's about 7 minutes long, so fairly quick tip about how to use bubbles to get single word requests and eventually move into 2-word phrases from your child. So if you like this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys in the next one, and be blessed. And I think we'll probably cover action verbs with bubbles for the next Tuesday tip. I'll talk to you guys soon.